Governor requested national support to advance in the process of the murders that occurred in recent days.
A few hours ago, the departmental government issued a press release requesting national support to guarantee the security of the island population in the archipelago after the most recent murders on the island. Governor Everett Harkins hopes to be heard and that the Minister of Justice and Law will serve as a liaison with the Superior Council of the Judiciary so that it can ensure the safety of the island's population. Open quote. With the objective of accelerating the process to guarantee the security of the island community, the Governor of the Archipelago Department, Everett Julio Harkins Shogreen, requested the Minister of Justice and Law, Wilson Ruiz Orejuela, to serve as a liaison with the Superior Council of the Judiciary to arrange a virtual meeting to obtain a statistical report on the sentences handed down by the criminal courts in the archipelago, those that involve in some type of security measure, both imprisonment and house arrest, as well as the controls of such measures that are in the hands of the courts of the execution of sentences, together with the impact. In recent days, there have been events on the island that indicate shortcomings in the system, coupled with the fact that non-compliance with this type of judicial measures is repeatedly seen in the department, said the island chief commander in this letter. The various criminal acts have triggered peaceful demonstrations and actions by the community, which have required the immediate intervention of the administrative entity to ensure not only public order and the safety of the inhabitants, but also to conduct an analysis and make an in-depth diagnosis to identify factors that have led to these violent acts occurring repeatedly in the department in recent months. The government expects the minister to respond as soon as possible to the above request in order to be able to make an analysis that will allow taking actions to attack the violent acts from the root, since they have been occurring repeatedly.
This morning, the representative to the House of Representatives for the Archipelago, Elizabeth J. Pan, held a meeting with the Minister of the Interior to find solutions to the security problems that have arisen in the department.
Representative to the House of Representatives Elizabeth J. Pan met today with the Minister of the Interior, Daniel Palacios, to inform him about the security situation in the archipelago. During the meeting, a visit to San Andres by the national authorities was scheduled for next week.
Por eso con el Ministro de Interior.
With the Minister of the Interior, we are going to start coordinating a work meeting in San Andres, where we are going to be backing up the three issues that the young people who are protesting are demanding. First is the issue of clarifying not only the death of Hetty, but also that of the boy today. The second is the issue of health in San Andres, and the third is the issue of security. We need to do something forcefully. The minister is telling me that he is going to organize the security issue with the National Director of the Police, but we are also with the Minister of Defense to see what we are going to do in San Andres, and all the forces have to be gathered around this.
A new murder in less than 5 days has again caused the department to be in mourning. The body of a person known for being a dancer and dance teacher in different groups from on the island was found in a wooded area near Morgan's Cave.
These are the terrifying images of the condition in which Luis Carlos Bustamante was found in the area where he apparently worked as a security guard. Luis was found by his co-worker Jose Luis Cantillo, who in the midst of his pain narrated through an audio to Teleislas June how he found his co-worker.
I arrived and saw that there is no one. There were some people from the company inside working. I asked one of them about him and he told me that they didn't find anyone there, so I went out to look for him. I looked where the chairs were, and when I got closer, I found the handkerchief full of blood, and I continued to look for him. When I found him, he was lying face down. The distance where we have to be is far away.
Among the versions heard at the scene, co-workers stated that they found alcoholic beverage containers on the floor and two chairs, which could indicate that his victim was apparently accompanied during his working hours. Scene personnel also conducted an inspection of a vehicle that apparently contained traces of blood and evidence that could lead to know who was responsible for this criminal act.
Ya estamos haciendo la recolección de algún...
We are already collecting some testimonies, and especially from those who worked here in this place. We are also collecting cameras to obtain videos. The National Police, through the SIHIN, is taking over the investigation, and we are waiting for the support of the community to be able to present a result very soon.
Luis Carlos Bustamante, who was 40 years old in addition to being a security guard, was a dancer and dance teacher, a very well-known person among artists on the island.
A large number of people attend the candlelight held in honor of Fabián Pérez and to other victims of the acts of violence that have occurred in the department.
Bueno, yo creo que es un acto simbólico que vinimos a hacer.
I believe that this is a symbolic act that we have come to do. There is a document that we are going to send. We are waiting for the time to pass so that the governor's office can provide a solution step by step. Hopefully, this will never happen again.
No sé ni qué decir porque primera vez que no...
I don't know what to say. The first time that something like this happens in our territory with a member of our LGBTI foundation. It is very difficult to bear something like this, to endure that Luchin was the first at the top of our list. One candle is not enough. We want justice.
And islanders in Bogotá will also gather to pay tribute to the late singer Hetty. The activity will take place through a candlelight ceremony tomorrow, Friday, March 18.
Fabián Pérez, better known as Hetty, lived for several years in the city of Bogotá, where he had the opportunity to climb in his artistic career, as well as create ties with the islanders who live there. In this opportunity, they will be the ones who this Friday will pay a posthumous tribute to the artist whose death was shock to the entire community.
Hola, queremos invitarlos mañana.
We want to invite you tomorrow, March 18, from 6 p.m. to the big candlelight ceremony in tribute to our friend Fabián Pérez, better known as Hetty. This will be in the Alfonso Lopez Park, located on 51st Street and 21st Street. We want to pay tribute to him for all that he contributed to the racial culture and raise a voice of protest for all those victims that violence has left us in the archipelago.
And today, the seizure of a large quantity of drugs that were being transported in a boat to the south of the island was made. According to information from the Navy, it could be the largest seizure in the history of Sepsi.
According to the information already circulating in social media, a boat carrying a shipment of illicit substances was seized in a sector in the south of the island. The seizure was made by Colombian Navy and Air Force units assigned to the command. According to the information from the Navy, there were captures, and it is possibly the largest seizure in the history of the specific command of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. The department's Navy has not yet provided official information about the seizure or the quantity. However, it is important to highlight that in September they had seized a shipment of more than 2 tons of cocaine, which at the time the authorities considered to be one of the largest. They state that this seizure is even larger, hence the importance of this new development. This news team will be attentive to the development of this news and the official information provided by the competent authorities.
And in other news concerning the situation at the recruitment center for minors, citizens denounces that the inmates have made a hole through which they can leave the place and commit criminal acts.
Nolasco Premier Bowden Arraisal made a public campaign against inmates who are in the juvenile prison located around the rock. Yesterday, his parents was apparently robbed by 3 young men in the streets of El Cibar when they were going to around the rock.
I received a call from a family who spoke to me and said that some issue with my parents them on the motorcycle. I thought that they did fall off the motorcycle by themselves. So I direct myself to the community. They were at my Aunt Violet rescuing themselves and searching that they were not in journey too serious.
Nolasco said that his parents were dragged away to be robbed of their belongings. Upon arriving where his parents were, Premier said that they returned to the scene to look for the keys to the motorcycle or at least to recover the victim's document.
We came with the family back behind them to ride around again and see if we could find the key. When we were there, I asked them if they could identify where the young guys they run through gone. And it came to my mind that we'll look around to see if we can get back at least the papers, my father's papers then, because we are traveling often because he's going through a process of sickness. So then we begin to search in a road that they show me that the child run through. And when we reach, to our surprise, going through the road, looking around to find the mochila, we meet with the minor jail that is built in El Cibar. And as we turn around and look around, we saw a hole where the child dig in the back of the building, and they can come out.
In search of the documents, they found a hole that was covered with a piece of metal. Upon seeing the hole, they approached the main door to report the incident to uniformed personnel who were guarding the center, who stated that they did not have access or authorization to approach the inmates because they were minors.
Effectively, as we go in and look around with flashlight, not where the minor then is, but in the surrounding them of the yard. As I turned over the basura can, I saw the mochila of my father. We get to rescue his wallet with the papers, the main papers, also the kanguro from my mother, but they steal the two phone that they had and 150,000 pesos from his wallet.
However, the islanders state that the technological device and the cash were not recovered. So when the caretaker on duty was told to ask the minors for the belongings of the two elderly victims of the rob, they took a negative attitude inside the center.
No, after hours, we decided to press a little to see if by people is down here and the military then came along, they could might be get conscious and give us back the phone them. And to our surprise, the children then opened the gate from the place where supposedly they are locked into, come out, bring out the motor from the watchman, the motor from who is taking care of them, light up some mattress that was there with fire, and make we know say nobody can come in and the military then can't come in.
The community of the sector calls on the competent authorities in charge of these centers, such as the Family Welfare and the Gotas de Paz Foundation, to make immediate measures to control the situation because it is getting out of control. Teleislas News contacted the Director of Family Welfare, who stated that they will be making a statement on the matter. This news agency will be attentive to any statement made by the Director.
And 4 individuals were rescued in the inner bay of the island by the National Navy after being shipwrecked. Among those rescued were a woman and a minor.
In events that occur in the access channel of the inner bay of San Andres, a Coast Guard unit of the Colombian Navy rescued 4 individuals, 2 men, a woman, and an 8-year-old child, who fell into the water after the boat in which they were being transported suffered a shipwreck due to the adverse weather condition in the area. The San Andres Maritime Traffic and Control Station received a distress call from the boating community, who alerted to sighting a vessel in emergency at sea. Immediately, the search and rescue procedure was activated, and a rapid reaction unit from San Andres Coast Guard Station was deployed to the scene. Upon arrival to the emergency sea, the crew members of the naval institution evidenced that 2 men were climbing to the boat. The woman had a child jacket, and the minor was lifted to the hull of the shipwrecked vessel, for which they proceeded to perform the timely rescue on board the Coast Guard unit and verify the good health condition. Subsequently, they were transported together with the towed vessels to the main dock of the San Andres Coast Guard Station, where a medical team from the Emergency Regulatory Center provided specialized medical attention.
Now we continue with Victor Fusalba on Sport News.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. San Andres is mourning for the death of Fabian Perez, better known as Hetty, the king of Creole and a good sportsman. A great example of an artist and a sportsman, Hetty was outstanding thanks to his passion, physical condition, and athletic ability. He was a good basketball player and also an outstanding in the sport of recreational cycling. Hetty was a great example of dedication and discipline in both sport and music. Hetty will be immortalized on this island. This was stated by the citizen Erlid Arroyo.
He was a person who leaves something for everybody. But what I want today left on that highlight is, like say, Hetty was somebody, a good sporter, who was a good basketball player, and also he was a good bicycle rider. And everybody used to see him and we used to interact. I was close to him when I was in sport, and he was a man who always worry about the youth, worry about what you can do. But also we have to say he was a good artist also, and socially he was a friend to everybody. So Hetty, we just want to say, through the camera from Teleislas, say, oh, I miss you a lot. But also, you're leaving a good example for the youth in sport, art, and also social.
Fabian Perez will be remembered as a great artist of Creole music and an outstanding local sportsman. His imprint will remain in the retina of the young sportsmen who love Creole music, demonstrating that the discipline and perseverance you can go far in our culture and in sports. We will miss you, Hetty. We will remember you forever, an athlete who was crowned King of Creole.